one of the things that I see commonly when it comes to clients working with their virtual assistant is they think that their virtual assistants should just do everything else that they hate in their business. Now, I usually call this thinking of your assistant as a unicorn, which will hurt you and the assistant at the same time because you have too high of expectations of what it is that they can do instead of having the clarity of what are goals and tasks that they can actually do rather than pushing everything towards them. So you want to be able to assess what are the tasks that only you can do, that you should be doing in your business, and what are the tasks that they can do, what are their expertise, what are their strengths that matches your weaknesses. Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, my goal is that at this video is to be able to show you guys what could be mistakes that you are doing when you're working with your virtual assistant. Now, if you're a virtual assistant yourself, these are the things that you need to work on with your client as you see them. Now, if this is your guys' first time on my channel, my name is Lai Lacaba. I have been working from home since I was 15 years old, and I post videos every Sunday on how to work from home and every Thursday on how to have your own online business. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now, the purpose of this video is to really educate and let you guys know how certain virtual assistant and client relationships don't work out. What are the usual things that make it harder for virtual assistants and their clients to work together? And the first mistake that I usually see is delegating the wrong tasks. Now, one of the things that I see commonly when it comes to clients working with their virtual assistant is they think that their virtual assistants should just do everything else that they hate in their business. Now, I usually call this thinking of your assistant as a unicorn, which will hurt you and the assistant at the same time because you have too high of expectations of what it is that they can do instead of having the clarity of what are goals and tasks that they can actually do rather than pushing everything towards them. So you want to be able to assess what are the tasks that only you can do, that you should be doing in your business, and what are the tasks that they can do, what are their expertise, what are their strengths that matches your weaknesses. The next mistake that I see when it comes to working with a virtual assistant is delegation by abdication. Now, this will really hurt, again, you and the assistant when you just give them tasks thinking that they'll just get it without giving them a goal, without giving them a deadline or what this looks like when it's done at the very least. I really don't recommend micromanaging at all, but you need to have clarity when you're giving them a certain task. You need to be able to show them what are your expectations. Later on, as you guys work together better, they already know what your standards are. So as a really good example between me and my assistant Christina, she knows what my standards are because we have gone back and forth about it when I give her certain tasks. So that's something that's going to naturally happen between you and your assistant is they will know what level you are at, what level you're expecting them to be at, so they can then adjust. And later on, again, you don't have to give them as much feedback later on. They can just get to the point where they'll figure it out. And speaking of not having a clarity, the next mistake that people usually make when it comes to working with a virtual assistant is not having clarity on the end goal. Now, I don't just mean the goal of the task or the goal of the project, but where it is that the company is actually going. You want to communicate with your assistant where you see the company is going and how they fit in that. That way, they start feeling more invested in the company because they are seeing the results of what it's like to work with them. How working with them is actually helping the company in the long run. So for example, with me, I talk about my goals often. I talk about it with my assistant. I talk about it with you guys. So my assistant knows how to direct me, how to guide me or help me out to get to where I actually want to be. You really need to start trusting your assistants also to be able to understand what it is that your goal is so they can actually get you there faster. The next mistake that's commonly made when it comes to working with virtual assistants is no training or not providing them with training. Now, within 2XU, that is actually something that we really specialize in, is growing the executive assistants, not just on the hard skills, but also on the soft skills. So this could involve, self-development, how to be more confident, their leadership skills, and also actually how to run their own business. This is a whole training module that we have everyone go through, so they're always working on themselves. The reason why you want to have your assistants be able to train or work on their skills is for them to have new ideas, to find shortcuts that you would have never found because this is not your expertise. So I really recommend setting in a time with your assistant, even just 5 hours a week, 5 to 10 hours a week maybe, of letting them study, of letting them go through courses and books that would really just help them be able to grow themselves, not just expertise wise, but also as a person. The next mistake that I see is not having a clear routine. Now, what I mean by this is you don't actually have a daily, weekly, or monthly routine that they can check on. One of the biggest pros to having an assistant is you kind of have a second brain. You have someone who can run the business in the background as you keep growing it. So you want to make sure that you set different metrics with your assistant, different routine tasks that they can do as you explore and grow your own business. So try to set it maybe as early as 2 months in, or even a month in the work relationship, of how you imagine that their routine tasks are, so they have something again to run in the background, as there will be times that you might not be able to meet with them or give them more tasks. The next mistake that I see when it comes to working with a virtual assistant is not giving or asking for feedback. Now, feedback is the fuel for us here at 2XU because it's going to be the easiest way for us to match whatever expectations that a client might have. A lot of the time we do have different backgrounds, we have different context. So when you're able to give feedback on what it is that either they have done really, really awesomely or what they can still do better, it actually helps build your relationship forward because you get to be on that same page. Especially when you guys are working on new tasks or new projects, feedback is essential. And it actually also is important to ask for feedback on how you can do better as a leader. This is how you can grow and how your relationship with your assistant can grow into the best way. And now, one of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot of entrepreneurs make when it comes to working with a virtual assistant or an employee is not having a documentation or a standard operating procedure. Now, you guys can check out my video on how to create a standard operating procedure, but what I mean by this is basically you don't have a way to make sure that none of you are bottlenecks. Now, what I mean by this is if it's only you who knows how to do a certain task and you're out sick, your assistant can take over that. And if your assistant gets sick, which will happen, and you have no idea how to do that certain task, nothing will get done. So that is the powerful reason why you need to be able to document the tasks and projects that are happening so people can step in and you are not the bottleneck to get it done, to get it over the finish line. So you want to make sure that tasks and projects in your business are documented, that they're refreshed maybe every 6 months to make sure that they're still up to date. Now, comment below what are the mistakes that you might have done as an employer when it comes to working with a virtual assistant. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button right there. And if you still haven't, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Sunday on how to work from home, which you guys can check out right here, every Thursday on how to have an online business, which you guys can check out right here, and the newest video right here. Now, I hope you guys have an awesome day. Remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!